Ram Ram. Good morning, Jaipur. Cheers to good health. Not such a huge, but a media group welcomes you all over here. I, Chandan Anand, founder, CEO, and group editor of ArdorComm Media, welcome our eminent guests on the dais, off the dais, eminent speakers, invited guest delegates representing the education fraternity, not only of Rajasthan, but pan-India. We welcome our partners, Silver Partner, Kanoff Sealing Solutions, Skilling Partner, Upgrade Campus, Integrated School Technology Partner, Teachment, Digital Assessment Partner, OFI, Credential Partner, True Scholar, Digital Campus Partner, Colpole, Academic Partner, Millennium Education, Associate Partners, Anthology, Chrysalis iMaths India Private Limited, Digital Ed, Extra Edge, Jodo, Fando, SAS, and VideoCipher. To name a few, I'm really grateful to Shri Damodar Prasad Goyal ji, Shri Ashok Ved ji, Dr. Pooja Manjula Shroff ma'am, Kana Gupta ji, Anantha Krishnan ji, and many of our well-wishers for their continuous support, guidance to help us co-create this wonderful physical symposium of knowledge sharing for school education fraternity. And let me be very honest to tell you that you all mentors have been mentoring me in the right direction. Thank you so much. I'm truly obliged and grateful. With your support and association, we feel privileged and glad to host this event on a large scale, inviting people from Pan Rajasthan. Due to some of the reasons, maybe somewhere assessment examinations are happening. There is a school event association of CBSE, they are having an event. Suddenly there is a Bharat Jodo Yatra which was supposed to come 2 days later after this event. Unfortunately, they have arrived yesterday only, and a big delegation is involved. Otherwise, the Ministry of Education, BD Kallaji and some IAS officers who actually have committed to be their presence over here. But unfortunately, they could not be a part. They have shared their messages through good blessings and best wishes. So with your support and association, we feel really privileged and glad to host this event and try to build this as a first new normal education leadership summit. We are trying to be present, we are trying to present Rajasthan as an education hub of the country. I'm really grateful to all of you that you have managed to come and attend this knowledge sharing platform physically. Many of you have been traveling from across Rajasthan, even the rest of the states. Dear all, may you please give a huge round of applause for yourself. Thank you so much for making this up. Today we have all gathered to witness New Normal Education Leadership Summit and Awards 2022. This will be a 2 days event. Day 1 is focusing and featuring schools and preschool. Day 2 will be featuring the deliberation and will be witnessing the people from higher education, skill education, and technical education. We will also witness the prestigious award ceremony and the felicitation ceremony towards the end of the summit. Before we start, let me invite your kind attention towards a small introduction or a journey of ArdorComm Media Group. ArdorComm Media Group is a growing media company enabling communities of education, human resource, healthcare and wellness, governance, media, entertainment, and art to effectively advance their businesses and strategic interests by becoming their collaboration catalyst. Our passion is to co-create, co-learn, and collaborate for innovation and socio-digital transformation. A short overview on how we started this media venture. When the overall industry was sailing across the VUCA phase of existence and survival, during the peak of second wave of COVID-19, where companies were in a cost-cutting situations or shutting down their operations, loss of jobs and uncertainty could be witnessed by many of us. A small foundation team dared to start their own media venture. We got incorporated 1.5 years back as a media startup and named the company as ArdorComm. Ardor means passion, zeal. Com stands for community and communication. Our 5 core values are aspiration, reimagination, digitalization, opportunity, and readiness, abbreviated as Ardor. We were able to extend employment opportunities to deserving young candidates having strong will, zeal, and zeal to outperform. With this, the journey started as a social entrepreneur. As a team, we are very passionate, and we have taken efforts in creating positive changes in the society by engaging community leaders like you. We aim to become India's leading and most desirable media voice by enriching community with the ecosystem of knowledge-sharing platform, information, content, and news. Let us wish that this symposium will open the gateway of bringing back hopes and positivity among the teachers, academicians, educators, and the entire education community who have been working really hard to ease the process of teaching, learning, assessment in this VUCA phase. VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. In true sense, the new normal. I can very well connect with the school education institutions of all kinds. Their instructional methods disrupted the closure of their physical campuses, regulations and limitations of the fee increment, and all these related crises exposed the urgent need for policymakers and institutional leaders to adjust and reimagine the models of education. Launch of NAP 2020 brought good hopes and positivity to the overall education sector, which balanced the disruption of teaching learning process. We also witnessed high growth of adoption of education technology, with global edtech investment reaching out to US $20 billion in 2020 to US $127 billion in 2022. And the overall market for the online education projected to reach $315 billion by 2030, with a CAGR of 16.5% from 2022 to 2030. In India, EdTech market, we also have seen market leaders, the emerging market leaders and the startups who have crossed the billion markets like Byju's, Unacademy, Upgrad, Vedantu, and many more. With the market size of $700 million to $800 million in 2021. The EdTech industry is expected to become $30 billion industry in the next 10 years. Our event theme is reimagining education in 21st century workplace, expanding boundaries of education, skill, and employability. We have researched a lot and carefully chosen very interesting and relevant panel session topics. Our special guests and eminent speakers are the stalwarts of the education industry. We are shortly going to witness some meaningful and great deliberations, and I am hopeful that you all will enjoy, learn, and enhance our knowledge from today's panel discussions and few industry presentations. The session is also live on the FB page. You may please follow the ArdorComm social media handles. It's simple, it's ARDORCOMM space media. You will find the handles on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. The Facebook is live. So let us make the people aware, not only inside the hall, but outside the hall, what kind of deliberation is happening over here. And the events which we have been doing pan-India, we make a docket of that as a format, and we present this draft to all the government agencies, including the MHRD, the kind of programs which we have been doing, the session outcomes which is there. So it's not only getting drafted only on the website, but we definitely have a white paper, and we make sure that it goes to NCRT, CBSE ministry, even at the regional and the national level. So this has been the effort since since 1.5 years, and this is going to be the 8th physical event. After this, we are going to West Bengal and Odisha. We are trying to engage. We are trying to go regional. If this would have been a national event, the outcomes and the scenario would have been something different. But rather than having some national players and few of the institutions which is well known, I'm trying to go and penetrate deeper into the roots of a rural or maybe a regional level, and trying to engage and bring on the stalwarts of all those regions to a dice. And collaboratively, maybe after a 1 year, maybe we'll be having a flagship event in any of the cities, inviting all you education leaders at a common place. So उसके साथ ही मैं एक शायरी से अपनी बात को विराम रखना चाहूँगा कि मंजिलें हमसे हैं लेकिन मंजिलों से तुम नहीं, मंजिलें हमसे हैं लेकिन मंजिलों से तुम नहीं, ऐ मंजिल तू रुक वहीं, चल पड़े हैं हम पथ पर, और जिस पथ पर हम चल पड़े हैं पत्थर है वो मलमल नहीं, मंजिलें हमसे हैं लेकिन मंजिलों से हम नहीं. थैंक यू सो मच ऑडियंस.
जस्ट टू ऐड मिस्टर चंदन आनंद, मैं भी 2 लाइनें कहना चाहूँगी. मंजिलें मिल ही जाएंगी चाहे भटकते हुए ही सही, मंजिलें मिल ही जाएंगी चाहे भटकते हुए ही सही, गुमराह तो वो हैं जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. All right, moving forward, now it's time for me to invite on dais our eminent guest, Mr. Damodar Prasad Goyal, Founder President Society for Unaided Private Schools of Rajasthan. A huge round of applause for him.
Good morning to all. Mr. Chandan Anand, my very good friend Dr. Manjula, my very good friend Lata, Kanak, and all the members from the education fraternity in the hall. Today we are here to talk about new normal, redefining education, and 21st century skills. So, this word new normal emerged for the first time 100 years back when the First World War was broken. After the First World War, this new normal word came into existence, and people were having this word very common, that how to live in life. And thereafter there were many occasions when frequently new normal has taken place. I hope Chandan doesn't mean new normal whether during the COVID or post-COVID. I am talking about the new normal, not related to the COVID, post or during the COVID, but what is happening in the society and what is the effect of the COVID. I do observations. I am not involved directly in any education. I am neither a teacher, nor a principal, nor any school owner. But I am a strong observer of the events, things, happenings in the education field, or to the large extent in the world. According to me, this COVID has brought some new kind of situation. The situation is that now children are back to the school, but with a digital gadget. They are more close to the digital gadget rather than of the books. Now, their language has changed. The normal language which we used to have in our daily life, it has been changed. Now the children are using some different kind of language which they have seen on their digital gadget. I will not hesitate in sharing one of the survey which we conducted privately in 2-3 schools, that not less than 65% children above class 5 has seen the porn on their digital gadgets. Now it's a new normal. Earlier it was not considered, or this was very private thing, but now it has become very public thing. Now the new normal is that children are not interested, children has lost their writing skills. When we conducted pre-board, when many schools conducted pre-boards or half-yearly examinations, their scoring is so low because they have never been able to write the answers. During the 3-hour paper, they have written only 2 pages and they have scored hardly 15 marks out of 50. This is new normal. And then educators, we have to address all these important issues. How we have to? However, whatever the actions, steps we have to take actions. We cannot remain silent on these important aspects of the life. The life of the student is very important for the parent, for the society, for the nation. Today's student is the future of the nation. And if we are not able to shape him in the right direction, then you can see that what kind of future this nation or this world will have. We have to think about the climate change also. Climate change is a very big issue. You must have just read the report of the World Bank, which has predicted that in the year 2030, within the next 30 years, the temperature will be so high that it will be beyond capacity of bearing by the human. So we have to teach them. We have to tell them. We have to change. We have to make change in our lifestyle. We have to make them a conscious citizen. And we have to prepare them to a conscious changer also in the society. It is just not like now we have to go out of class. Enough is enough. Now, the thing is, enough knowledge is available on internet. Content knowledge has become redundant, I tell you. Sometimes the content knowledge is more in a student than a teacher. Sometimes the student is in position to tell the teacher that this is more in this subject or in this topic. Now we have to do away with so many unnecessary chapters and subjects. What is the point? I am not able to understand that why we are giving 8 periods to the language English, whereas the language is, the knowledge of the language can be taught in the early 8 classes. Thereafter, the knowledge, fluency, or the knowledge can be enriched by practice only. Shakespeare was not MA, but MA, nobody can complete the MA without reading the Shakespeare. So why we are so much harping upon the giving this teaching and giving knowledge, content knowledge and everything in English? So we have to realize that what are the real facts, what are the new normals. Every day is a new normal. All of a sudden, Bharat Jodo Yatra has come to Jaipur. Now the entire traffic has become standard still. So it's a new normal. So we have to change, we have to have a mindset to adjust ourselves in any given situation. That is more important. Now I will switch over to the skill education. There are, now the days have gone when we were talking about the conservative education. Now the IITG, NEET, CLET, all will become a very, very poor subjects, I tell you. Do you know that in this FIFA World Cup, 60,000 persons were employed for the game sports management. Now there are so many new avenues in the life. Then your engineering, medical, management, law, everything. Now we have to give exposure to our students to the new avenues which are available. And we have to estimate, we have to calculate, we have to analyze the situation, that what kind of opportunities are available. A player is earning more than any good businessman. A singer is charging more money for singing a song than any good CEO. There are many good writers, content writer. Chetan Bhagat is earning more than any good CEO is earning. And he was basically a banker. He started his career as bank. So you have to teach your student that what are the new avenues available in the life, and we have to forecast that what will be the new thing which will require manpower after 10 years. Don't look at the 2025. The children are mad to go to the engineering entrance examination, medical entrance examinations, and the coaching institutes are mushrooming like anything. In our quota, in this week, 3 suicides took place. So we have to take care of the emotions and the psychological issues of the children. So we have, as educators, it is our responsibility to give right exposure to our children, that what they need to learn, how they can use it in their life, and what are the... And one most important thing is that we should always teach them to have plan B. Plan A, may not be successful. If a man is not ready with the plan B in case of the failure of plan A, there will be a frustration which may lead to the depression and whatnot. So we have to have plan B in our teaching. We have to have plan B in our life. We have to teach to learn the plan B to our students, so they are able to face any kind of situation in their life. This is what I feel personally, and which is the important for the educators. The role of the educator is not only to teach the subject in the classroom. A child is in the school for 6 hours, out of which some periods are given to sports, to library, and all these. The effective teaching hour available in a school is about 4 hours only. A child is coming to you for 4 hours learning. But parents believe that the entire responsibility for shaping the future of the child is upon the teacher, upon the school. They are not bothering about the rest 16 hours or 18 hours with whom the child is living. They are shrinking away their responsibilities. We have to orient our parents that what are their responsibilities. The Honorable Supreme Court has come out with a judgment in which they have very clearly observed that the parents should not expect so much from the school, and they have to fulfill their own obligations. And we have to convey them very frankly. So the outcome of this conference will be very good if we are able to recognize what is going to happen. We should not wait for what will happen. We should try to estimate, and we should try to uh, uh, to uh, uh, to see that what is stored in the future. You have to see a butter in the milk. Apparently, when you will see a milk, you will never be able to see the butter in the milk. But when you when you turn the milk in the curd, and thereafter from curd to this, you can take out the butter. So you have to, as an educator, you have to see the butter in the milk, and you have not to talk only about the milk. Thank you very much.
A very warm namaskar to Damodar sir ji. Again, a warm namaskar to Dr. Manjula Shroff, Mr. Chandan, Anand, and I can see some of my friends also here. All my dear friends, a very warm welcome to all of you, a very warm namaskar. छोटे से हिंदी के एक शेर से शुरू करना चाहूँगी। बच्चों के नन्हे हाथों को चांद सितारे छूने दो, बच्चों के नन्हे हाथों को चांद सितारे छूने दो, चार किताबें पढ़कर ये भी हम जैसे बन जाएंगे. The topic today is like redefining education and 21st century skills and time. We were expecting and anticipating a huge void, undoubtedly. But when we actually saw them, we could feel that they have lost all their skills, social skills, communication skills, the confidence to talk to people, of course the practicing part which Damodar sir spoke to us about. The practice was completely out of the system. So the concept part was completely out, the practice was there. They were all in the small comfort cocoon, and they were very happy in that cocoon. So when they came back to school, although they were happy to come back to school, but we felt they are, they're in a very small cocoon. It was a big task to pull them out of that cocoon. So we all decided in our school that, this is the 1 year we are going to have, where we're going to clear all the backlog of the previous 2 years. Because imagine a child who was in class UKG, all of a sudden came to class 3, a child who was in class 1, all of a sudden came to class 4. So it was a huge challenge. There was a big void. So mutually we all agreed that this year we are going to take it as a year where we're going to clear all the backlogs of the previous years. How do we do it? The time is same. We all mutually decided we're not going to have any annual function this year. So what? We replaced it with a talent fest. This was a talent fest because I felt the emotional intelligence in the children was completely missing. So the first challenge was bring their emotional intelligence up. Once they are confident, the study parts will automatically continue. So we came out with this talent fest where class LKG to class 12th, all the children participated. Whatever they were good at, just come and speak, and we invited all the parents to talk to them, and it was compulsory for every child to participate in this talent fest. And that is the reason what we saw, the children who would stutter, the children who would not, they were trembling and they were not able to speak. There was no eye contact. After this talent fest, we could see every child very comfortable with the social skills. They were good with the communication skills. They were good with the presentation skills. The ones who had some hobby or some interest, talent, they continue with that. The new ones are given new topics for research, and they did a wonderful, wonderful job. So it was like in a jiffy, we could come out of that cocoon which they were in. And I could see the children back to what they were 2 years back. This was the experiment we conducted for them. And we all talk about AI, AI, AI. Undoubtedly, AI is here to stay. And it's going to increase in leaps and bounds. We can't stop it because technology is part of our education. We have to take it in our stride. We can't say we'll keep it away from it. But certainly as educationists, we can work over it so that, it's not just AI. We are human beings. See, that's what makes us different. AI is something which can be replicated a number of times. But humans, not so easy to replicate. So here is what makes us different from AI. And if we retain those qualities, then let me tell you, no machines can replace us ever. The fear that people have that, the teachers will be replaced by machines and AI, it will never happen if we go to the core values of being a human being. And what are those core values? Something like love. When I talk about love, I'm not talking about physical love at all. Love, compassion, patience, understanding, being sensitive towards issues, gratitude, humbleness. That's what makes us human. And if we are not able to instill these qualities in our children, then what are we doing? So when you go to our scriptures, again, this takes me back to all our scriptures, whether you talk about the Gita, you talk about the Upanishads, you talk about the Vedas. They all talk about one thing. Unfortunately, we all have forgotten about it. They talk about physical, mental, and spiritual health. There are three sides of a human being. The moment you ignore one part out of it, the development is automatically going to be very, very lopsided. It cannot be a proper development. Unfortunately, we talk about only one. So when it comes to physical part, the moment I say physical, you think about the body outside. No, the body has got its own intelligence. This is what our ancestors have told us. This is what the research tells us. It has got its own intelligence. But do we bother about it ever? Do we even think about it? We just talk about how we look physically outside. So when I say the physical part, I'm talking to you about the intelligence of the body. If something like this is taught to the children when they're very young, when I say young, which means LKG to class 12th, if this is part of our foundation, certainly it's going to make a big difference. Why? Because the moment you know about your body intelligence, I don't have to teach a child this is good, this is bad. Healthy eating automatically is there. The healthy choices are automatically part of the system. This is what the need of the hour is. We talk about the mental. Now, I have done the teacher's training course from the Yoga. It's the Yoga Institute, Santa Cruz East, Mumbai. I've done the teacher's training course from there. It's 125-year-old institute. We were taught, you are what your mind is. You are what your mind is, and that's true, whatever you are today. Because your mind says, I'm doing, you've got your own belief system, you've got your own perceptions. That's what you are. So if we work on this part about the mental health, and if we make it as part of a system, part of our education, part of our curriculum, the part of the culture of the school, certainly children will be ready to face anything in the world. Look at the war going on. Look at the uncertainty. We feel we're very happy because it's far, far away, but it's going to touch all our lives. So we have to understand mental resilience is very important for children to face their life. And you can't say that, especially when you see the social media, everything is about measuring and comparing. So much of measuring and comparing is there. You look at the social media, look at the post, every child is comparing and measuring. Now with so much of measuring and comparing, look at the psychological impact it's going to be. There are lots of cases going to be, lot of depression cases, psychological cases, is going to be part of the norm. So if we don't do something about it, it's just going to be, life is just going to be about measuring and comparing, which means this is what I should be. Everything is about I should be this, I should be this. Never-ending phenomena. Now we talk about the spiritual. When I talk about spirit, see, I don't talk about spiritual, which means leave the world and become a yogi or something like that. When I talk about spiritual intelligence, which is again a part of it, it's something which is not the mind, it's something which is not the body, it's something else which runs the show. That is what is called as spiritual. That is very important to lead a very happy, a very peaceful and a very satisfied life. And spirituality cannot be thrown out of the system. But unfortunately, you talk about our education system, it's all bloody copy and paste. We just want to copy blindly the West. So we have got spiritual intelligence in our system. It was part of our culture. It's lost somewhere down the lane. And we don't even bother to think about it. So if this is not part of a system, everything again is going to be lopsided. Everything about physical, everything about mental, but no spiritual into it. See, when I talk about spirituality, small things like meditation, small things like, sitting alone in nature and, puzzling out your problem. These are small things which could be nurtured in school in a very subtle way. See, the way you give medicines to a child with a sweet coating, it has to be in a very subtle, natural way, where the child doesn't even realize he has imbibed all these things naturally. That is what the research demands. And as Sir said, they are going to be the future of not just our country, they are going to be the future of the whole world. Are we not supposed to do something about it? Again, there was a research which was conducted all over the world, and there was this thing which was propagated by Dr. Goleman in 1995 about emotional intelligence. I'll tell you just a small thing. When they started, it started in Finland, and Finland that time was the top of all the, if you see the education chart, they were at number 1 for 3-4 years constantly. So he came out with this theory of emotional intelligence, and when when a person talks about emotional intelligence in a school, people say, is she a fool talking about this in school? So what is emotional intelligence? It's basically leadership quality, problem solving, dedication, consistency, analytical thinking, creative thinking, positive thinking. So people felt, how is it possible to have this in school? That's how we came out with a new school by the name of Cambridge Court World School, where emotional intelligence is part of our syllabus. It's part of the culture of the school. And let me tell you, these children are very emotionally intelligent. They are very strong to face the world. So the moment we feel, oh, this is too hi-fi funda, we can't have it in school, it's not possible. We have to work towards it. We have to research over it, and we have to implement it in our school accordingly. Now, the last part I'll talk to you about is how. I'll just give a small example. When I was in the Yoga Institute, I was taught there that, if there's a line drawn in front of you, and you want to make this line short without touching it, of course, the natural answer is draw a bigger line in front of it. It's a very small solution. But when you actually start implementing it in your daily life, if a child understands this, you can overcome any difficulty in your life. You can overcome any stress of your life if you're able to do that. So these are very small, subtle things. Like I always tell my children, 99% will always be in your hand. 1% will never be in your hand. So when this 99% is always in your hand, which means it teaches children that karma to karna hi padega. You read any of our scriptures, Gita bhi bolti hai, aapko kaam to pura karna padega. You have to put your 99% to it. But I tell them 1% is somebody else's hand. Call it nature, call it God, call it Almighty, call it any of the name. It's in somebody else's hand. That brings humbleness in them. That makes them accept that hamari mehnat karne ke baad bhi, suppose if you're not successful, it's okay. Because I have done my 99%. See, these are, to speak about, it's a very small things. But then I'll tell you, these are the things which lays the foundation for your future. The future is full of, look at the world, it's becoming very, very complicated. So to make this complicated world, the children are supposed to, we are going to equip them with something very strong so that they're able to go out of it. And especially I call this mobiles Aladdin's lamp. I call this mobile Aladdin's lamp. We all have this Aladdin's lamp. Unfortunately, the children also have this Aladdin's lamp in their hand. It goes as per your whim and fancy. आपको लगता है आज mood नहीं है, I want to watch something, it will make you see n number of things on that. Now what has that happened? It has made us all, when I say all, which means parents and students both, all of us, it has all made us a very spoiled brat. And that is the reason everybody's ego has become very, very big. Badi egos ke saath. It's always me and mine. How can you happy when something is only surrounded around you, me and mine? And because of this ego, you see the battle going on out there. Ukraine, Russia, what is it? It's just matter of me and mine. It's a big ego we're talking about. So let us equip our children with these things, especially with there has to be screen time. It has to be judicious use of screen time. And parents and school both have a strong role to play in this. We can't keep it out of a system, but we can certainly go ahead and use it very judiciously. So in the end, I would just like to end it. Life is going to throw googlies at us. You can't say I'm a rich man's son, so I'm somebody, a rich person's daughter, so there are not going to be any googlies in life. Life is going to throw googlies at you. You have to equip yourself and our children so strongly that we hit it for 4s and 6s. And it's not that we get out. So thank you very much for being with me. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.
Miss Lata, it is fantabulous speech. I can relate myself so much with your speech because I also talk about meditation with the people around me and they laugh on me when I talk about spiritual health and all. But it is actually a need of today. If we teach our children, if we make our children spiritually healthy, then they will definitely become a better human in coming time. And I think in 21st century, all is that we need. कि एक अच्छा ह्यूमन तो बनाए अपने बच्चों को कुछ और बनाए चाहे नहीं बनाए and I just want to mention that my nephew is in Cambridge Court and my bhabhi, she's absolutely satisfied with the education system you have and when we see our kid growing the way he should be so बहुत अच्छा लगता है and today I heard you so it is practical. All right, now moving ahead, this is time for me to invite on stage Dr. Manjula Pooja Shroff, MD and CEO, Kalorex Group. A huge round of applause for her.
Good morning to all the brave people who are here at 9:30. पता सीखना आसान नहीं है. Why come at 9:30 when you can come at 1 o'clock? But you know what you are getting that people will not get in this room is this. Every person has an experience. Then they filter down that experience. And that's why wherever I am, I say whoever is speaking, if I'm not learning 2 things, I lack. Because they come here to pour themselves out. And I'm going to tell you what I have learned from every speaker right now. Damodar ji, Lata ji, Chandan ji, happy to be sitting here with you and everybody else that I know and I don't know. We're definitely connected here for the next couple, whatever, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. When Chandan ji began, I was looking for, here is a person who's doing so many things. He'll filter it down, distill it and give you that one capsule. Whether you can take it or not depends on your way of filtering knowledge. He said, there are a lot of things happening nationally. I am going to every regional place and finding that new education leader. And that's what I took from him. Damodar ji says a lot of things. He's worked in education for a very, very long time. But when he said the last line, completely distilled, he said, दूध में बटर ढूंढो. वो ही करते आए हैं. Every time there is a new law, वो बटर ही ढूंढते रहते हैं, and that's what he gives us. He churns the milk. Knowledge has to be churned. दूध तो सबको दिखती है. बटर बहुत कम लोगों को. That's what he's been doing, and that's what he said. Whether we picked it up or not depends on how we churn knowledge. Lata ji said, life's truths, right? If we are only focusing on mental development of children in schools, who's going to do the physical, emotional, spiritual? Who? My name is Manjula Pooja Shroff. In Kalorex, it's called #MPS. Right, Manjula Pooja Shroff? But it doesn't mean that. Lata ji, you'll be happy to know, Manjula Pooja Shroff, #MPS actually stands for mental, physical, spiritual. We drill that down in Kalorex. We drill it down to our teachers. Because if we don't bring on board our teachers, we can't take it to the children. Of course, we work separately with children. We have interventions for 11th and 12th because they are at such a decision-making point that I honestly don't have time to first train the teachers and then go to the students. But on #MPS, we're always at our teachers' back. saying, guys, we have to broaden our knowledge. It is so true that the digital world doesn't need us to deliver content. We need to expand our own roles as educators. Today's topic is about new age, right? And I've been part of many policy-making bodies, and I want to share with you the behind the scene, कि policy क्यों बनती है? NEP, everybody is talking about. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to take one slither of NEP called skill development. And I'm going to give you the behind the back scene. Some people recognize that skills India में नहीं हो रहा था. I have been part of that team. I'm talking about 2016 when I was part of the Vibrant Gujarat team. Along with the government and some educators, we went to Australia. And we saw how well they were doing skilling right from age 6. Then another team went to America, another team went to China. After that, a bunch of us, me included, wrote a whole paper comparing how affiliations and curriculum is handled in the classroom. We found that, you know how economy works, right? So why is this information important for you? Remember, you have to churn information. You are creating the youth. Who is going to industry? You are the creator in the classroom. So whenever there is an economic downturn, people get laid off, right? And then there is no job in the market. We found that there are some countries who teach so much skill that even during downturn, those professionals are never laid off. When I was writing the paper, India had only 4,000 skill courses. China had 40,000. We compare China and India a lot. The only thing we can compare is population, nothing else. So when we started to write the paper, we said, what's the point of writing a paper if the government doesn't get it? And then we knocked on how many doors I cannot tell you. In this NEP, there's a whole segment on skill. Now, skill through affiliation has come to our classroom. We know that, right? But honestly, how many are doing it? We're not. 9th standard से CBSE कहता है कि skill development करो, but mandatory नहीं है ना, तो हम नहीं करेंगे. But the worst fear is this, understanding नहीं है. अगर अभी से हम बच्चों को नहीं समझाएं the importance of skill in their life, in their career, in their livelihood, they will not learn. They will not opt for it because we are all running for marks. But we can't do that to the children. We have to first tell the teacher. The teacher has to understand the importance of skill in school, in classroom. The principal have to understand and offer it. नहीं हो रहा. CBSE, all the CBSE schools will bear with me, has offered skill for the past 3 years. I know it. We have pushed it behind the door. So every opportunity we get like this, we try and explain the why. It is when you understand the why, you'll take it to the students, you'll take it to the parent. The parent will understand that even though it's not mandatory, it is more critical to his life than the marks that he will get in board 12th. That's the part I wanted to explain to you. So every time there's a new law, there's a thinking. And you know what happens? We create the law, we do the research, and there's no implementation on the ground. And then we go back to point 0. So I do really hope that next time you're sitting in a room like this, you'll filter, you'll channelize, you will analyze, you will churn the data and say, iska real matlab kya hai? Like I gave you the examples of the butter and the regional and the MPS. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here today.
Dr. Manjula, now I realize how Miss Anurita got inspired to write a book on you. It's truly an inspirational to hear you and to be with you. So thank you so much. This was all for the session. Now I would request Mr. Chandan to kindly felicitate all our speakers. Would request Dr. Manjula to kindly come ahead. It's a certificate of appreciation for your excellent performance in the industry. Now I would request Mr. Chandan to kindly felicitate Miss Lata. An award and recognition from our side to you, ma'am. Thank you. And now I would request Mr. Chandan to kindly felicitate Mr. Damodar. Kindly witness the ceremony with a huge round of applause. An award and recognition from our side for your excellent performance in the industry.
Can we have a bigger round of applause?
So now it's time for a group picture.